Ice stop. Ice what?
Whoa, whoa, baby, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
What is up, everybody? So it's almost finally time for some more football. It always feels like the bye week is like a mini off season, and I hate it. But to be honest with you, the bye week could not have come at a better time for this football team because there is a lot going on that is non-beneficial to us. There are some really good players we have that just have not been healthy. So this is a much-needed bye week. It's a much-needed rest for all of you guys. Everybody's anxiety attacks can lower by about 80%, and we could all get some rest. I'm sorry for the lack of videos over the last couple of weeks. I meant to say the last week, but I just felt like I should have taken a break just to make sure I don't burn myself out. I'm sorry if you got a little bit upset about that. I know I shouldn't have taken that long of a break, but we're back, and we're making another video. And today it's going to be the State of the Saints heading into Week 9. Now, my last video was a State of the Saints video as well. I would have done the Madden predictions and the predictions video last week, but that wouldn't make any sense because I have to do it this week. So this is the next video up. There was no predictions or previews or nothing last week. Just State of the Saints, talking about the bye week. But now we get the State of the Saints video today. I'm going to have a pretty interesting video out on Friday, which is going to be the preview to the Falcons game. Thursday is going to be predicted by Madden, and then, of course, all of the other videos that follow suit. But the preview for this game should be pretty interesting. But until we talk about the game itself, let's talk about our team. And our team only, the New Orleans Saints, State of the Saints heading into Week 9. And the first thing I would like to talk to you guys about are Tre'Quan Smith and Jared Cook. Now, you might be asking why. I'm not going to tell you yet, but what I will do is read some of the statistics for Jared Cook and Tre'Quan Smith before they got injured. So let's start with Tre'Quan Smith. Tre'Quan Smith had 5 receptions, but he was only targeted 5 times, so he caught 100% of the balls going his way. He had 75 yards, a touchdown, 15 yards per catch in 2 games. Okay, one with Drew Brees and one with a very non-game planned Teddy Bridgewater. He was looking like a really good safety blanket in the Rams game before he ended up getting hurt. He's been dealing with an ankle injury since then. Jared Cook has 15 receptions, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the year. But before getting hurt, he had 2 really good games that accounted for both of the touchdowns he has on the year in general. Versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jared Cook had 4 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown. Versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had 3 receptions, 37 yards, and a touchdown before getting hurt. Jared Cook was heating up with Teddy Bridgewater. What we do know about Jared Cook is that Drew Brees gave him a lot of praise during offseason activities and was throwing him the ball a lot. They were developing a very good chemistry-based relationship. They looked like they were going to be the next big thing in the QB tight end role in the NFL, and I still think that's to come. Jared Cook got Drew Brees is getting his tight end back. And I don't want to spoil it before we get into the injury report, but there's very big, a big chance that Jared Cook and Tre'Quan Smith both play this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons, and we'll look into that in a minute. But these 2 players are 2 players that are really impactful to our team. We need these 2 guys back. The flow of the offense will be so much better when Michael Thomas doesn't have to catch 200 yards per game. It's very nice to see for all of the records he can break, the fact that he's leading Julio Jones in receptions and yards. He's leading Mike Evans in receptions and yards. He is the leading wide receiver in receptions and yards in the NFL, but the dude needs some help. The offense will bottleneck once they start triple covering Michael Thomas. These 2 guys right here are 2 fantastic pass catchers that are literally going to make that impossible. You cannot double Michael Thomas when you have Tre'Quan Smith and Jared Cook on the lineup. Tre'Quan Smith had 2 games over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns last year. I'm looking for that to happen again this year. I do think Tre'Quan Smith is going to break out when he comes back. I do think he's going to have a fantastic end half of the season into the playoffs. Just wait for that to happen. But the reason I was talking about these 2 guys is because of something that I waited and waited for. And instead of recording today's video early, I waited and I got it. The New Orleans Saints, Week 10. Is it Week 10 now? But we got the injury report, guys. The injury report for Wednesday is out. Listen, the Thursday and Friday injury reports are generally the most important injury reports that come out. That is when you start getting game statuses and everything, but it's kind of a very common thing to see players limited on Wednesday, limited on Thursday, but full practicing on Friday. We're not seeing that. Jared Cook, his ankle, he practiced fully on Wednesday. That is pretty much a guaranteed sign that he's playing on Sunday versus the Atlanta Falcons. Tre'Quan Smith, ankle injury, practiced fully after not practicing for 6 weeks straight. He practiced fully on Wednesday. That's basically a telltale sign that he's going to play in that game against the Atlanta Falcons as well. Drew Brees is on the injury report for some reason. Right thumb, probably just documenting it still. He's practiced fully. Patrick Robinson, Alvin Kamara, and Josh Hill were all limited for their own reasons. Josh Hill being calf, Alvin Kamara being knee/ankle, and Patrick Robinson being hamstring. I'm not really 100% sure if Alvin Kamara will be playing this game, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, I would not mind if he sat out. Latavius Murray has done fantastic, phenomenal things. I would like him to be able to prove his case more and earn his split carries with Alvin Kamara, taking that workload off of Alvin Kamara, because there's a reason he has a knee and ankle injury right now, and that is seemingly overuse. That's all I could think of for it. So Alvin Kamara has those problems. Latavius Murray might get the nod to start this week, but like I said, it's very common for players to be listed limited on Wednesday, practice fully on Friday, and then play that game. But we will see. I'm assuming they would like to keep it safe with Alvin Kamara. The season isn't about statistics, it's about rings, and that's exactly what we're probably going to go for. But I just wanted to let you guys know, give you the injury report and let you make up your own decisions on what you think is going to happen, who you think is going to play. I just think getting Jared Cook and Tre'Quan Smith back it's fantastic. Tre'Quan Smith is going to prove he was worth the draft pick. The dude's a beast. Go watch the highlights versus the Eagles and Redskins last year and tell me this dude doesn't have potential. Watch the highlights versus the Texans and the Rams this year. Tell me this dude doesn't have potential. Tre'Quan Smith has potential to be a little Michael Thomas, and we need to make sure, as long as he can stay healthy, availability is better than ability sometimes, and Tre'Quan Smith hasn't had ability. As long as he can stay on the field, I think he could be a genuine number 2 receiver. He has the skill for it, and that's a promise. So let's move on to the next topic, which is the NFC South. Now, the NFC South gets less interesting by the week. And I'm not saying that, anyone particular in the NFC South sucks. It's just a very two-sided division and nothing else. When you look at it, the standings are as said here. The Saints are 7-1. Their next game is versus the Falcons. The Panthers are 5-3. Their next game is at the Packers. The Buccaneers are 2-6, and they play the Cardinals next. And the Falcons are 1-7 and travel to New Orleans to play the division-leading New Orleans Saints. So, my take on the NFC South is this. The Saints are dominant. The Saints are going to win the NFC South, and I cannot wait to have a very, very, very fun time putting together the Falcons prediction video on Friday. But until then, we're just going to keep it at that. The Saints are dominant, and they're probably going to win the NFC South. But the Carolina Panthers have been putting a pretty decent season together themselves. They're 5-3. Cam Newton's been injured almost all year. The dude's on IR, by the way. Cam Newton will not be returning this season, so it's the Kyle Allen show for the rest of the year. Kyle Allen hasn't been that good. He's been all right. He's been keeping them afloat, but he's not a Teddy Bridgewater. He's not a quarterback you can rely on to take you to the playoffs or to succeed in the playoffs. But that doesn't matter much when you have Christian McCaffrey. The dude's been insane. It's like every time I look at a Panthers game on Red Zone, he's busting through the offensive line and running for an 80-yard touchdown. Christian McCaffrey's been an absolute monster. In my opinion, he is the best running back in the NFL at this moment. Don't get triggered. Kamara's been out for 2 weeks. He might miss a third in a row. So Christian McCaffrey has been playing like the best back in the league. So the NFC South, the Buccaneers should be a lot better than 2-6. They shoot themselves in the foot too much. Jameis Winston leads the league in turnovers. If he just didn't suck so bad, he's a good passer. He's a very good passer. He can move. He can dodge sacks on occasion. But he cannot stop fumbling and throwing interceptions. Literally, if he had any better decision-making skills, he could be one of the better quarterbacks in the league because he has passer skill. He can throw the football. He's just an idiot. Like, he's just stupid. And that will never click in my brain as to why he sucks so bad. The Falcons are really the same way. They can be good, but they're just garbage. They have all that talent, but they're 1-7. Doesn't make any sense to me. Let's go ahead and move away from the NFC South and talk about the real interesting standings, and that is the NFC as a whole. Now, you know I like talking about just the Saints and the state of the Saints, but this and the NFC South directly impact the New Orleans Saints. And the reason I say that is they're second seed in the NFC. If you know the Saints, they're going to fight for that home field advantage. You know that the Saints have the best home field advantage in the league, period. Nobody else comes close. So they're going to fight hard for that first seed. Luckily for the New Orleans Saints, they get a chance to prove that they deserve it by playing the San Francisco 49ers at home in Week 14, which in my opinion should be an easy win. I don't think the 49ers are a legitimate team, but, crucify me in the comments all you want. The NFC standings go as follows. Number 1, the San Francisco 49ers, they're 8-0 with a very close win in Arizona, 28-25. The number 2 is the New Orleans Saints. They just beat the Arizona Cardinals 30-9, I believe. They're 7-1, and they are currently on the bye week. The number 3 is the Packers, who are 7-2 after a very tough loss to the Los Angeles Chargers to dump 26-11 Green Bay. Aaron, stop. And then the Seahawks are 7-2. Beat Tampa in overtime, 40-34. Don't blame them. Tampa's a very resilient team. I think Russell Wilson is definitely my MVP favorite for this year, so I expect some big things out of the Seahawks. And guess what, guys? The San Francisco 49ers play their first real team on Monday Night Football next week. Seattle comes to town. Watch that game. It has serious playoff implications. And that's really all I got to say for this episode. State of the Saints. Dude. We're looking pretty right now. 7-1, top of the NFC South, second seed in the NFC. We get a matchup against the first seed, who may not even be the first seed when that matchup comes around. I'm getting a little cocky. I have so much faith in this team. They've shown me stuff that I haven't seen from anyone else. They've won in every single way physically possible. They've won with the defense, special teams, and offense clicking all at the same time. They've won with just the special teams clicking. They've won with just the defense clicking, and they've won just with the offense clicking. So these dudes are insane. Drew Brees, our Hall of Fame quarterback, is back. We're going to be healthier than ever in the next few weeks. Getting Jared Cook, Traquan Smith, and soon-to-be Alvin Kamara back. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this New Orleans Saints team right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Adios.
Ballin' like Barkley, wrist so sparkly, internet surfing, feel like iCarly.